Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. Couple things before we get started. I've got a folded blanket. That's as simple as maybe the throw blanket from your couch, or you could use a beach towel, a bath towel, something that might pad your knees, for example, or give you a little bit of a lift off the ground for some of our seated stuff. I've also been known to steal cushions from my couch, pillows from my bed. It's actually kind of fun to be original, to be creative, and to find things that assist us here in our practice here at home. I've got 2 yoga blocks. 2 thick books would be a great substitute. And in terms of a surface, I'm standing on a yoga mat, but I'm also standing on a really substantial rug. So find a place in your house that maybe has carpeting or a rug that's not going to slip out from underneath you. I caution you also, some of those exercise mats can be pretty slippery atop various surfaces. So something that's going to give you traction and maybe a little bit of padding and some peace of mind. Let's start standing in our most basic posture, what's called mountain pose. So your feet are hip distance and parallel. You could be facing the short front edge of your mat. Instead of locking your legs out, let's think of being soft, like a soft landing. Bend your knees a little bit. Bring your arms in front of you, palms face each other, and then make opposing giant circles and allow that to originate at your shoulder joint. And then noting where your shoulder joint is, let your arms settle alongside your body, palms face out. Notice if you've locked into your legs again. I know, me too. And let's get soft, but also be focused and strong as we stand here. Palms facing out, an uplift to our hearts, and an opportunity to, you might say, drop anchor. It's very tempting to review what we've done today or anticipate what we think might happen, either in this time together or beyond during the day. Instead, let's have a pact that we will fully inhabit this moment. Be here now, as they say. A great tool for that is to focus our awareness on our breath. Let's do that together. Take note of it. Every inhale and every exhale. If you're able to do the inhale and the exhale through your nose, that's ideal, but not required. What I do want us to do together is to use this as a tool. Our breath goes two different directions. Our mind is capable of going a million different directions. So let's just say quietly or silently, inhale as we do that, and exhale as we do that, just silently in your mind. Gives you something to focus on. Almost like a little bit of a mantra and an experience of breath. To further that, we'll add a little bit of movement. So inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then exhale, float your arms along your sides, palms face out, just that much. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, float your arms along your sides. One more time, inhale, a V. Exhale, float your arms along your sides. Adding on, inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips. I'm turning a little sideways so you see me. Bring your hands to your thighs. Use your hands like a prop on your thighs. Press into your thighs. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge a little bit deeper, just that much. Press into your thighs. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, hinge a little deeper. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hinge. Slide your hands possibly down towards your shins. If that's rounding you and collapsing you, be content with your hands on your thighs. Think about using them as props. You might even slide down to your ankles, but that's not better. It's just different. Then we will inhale, rise. Reach thumbs to the sky, a V, and we stand with our palms facing out in our mountain pose. We'll keep adding. Inhale, V shape, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, get even more length, and then bend your knees deeply, deeply enough that your palms can situate themselves flat on the ground. Then step back, let your feet be as wide as your mat. Come onto the balls of your feet, press actively into your hands and into your arms. So we're not bending our elbows and collapsing. And then imagine a hook in your tailbone. Let that lift your hips up towards the corner where the wall and your ceiling meet. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Arrive hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands up, inhale. Glide your hands down, exhale. We inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and then stand with our palms facing out in our mountain. Are you locking your knees? I know, me too. It's a habit sometimes. Let's try to be soft but solid. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hand to your thighs or shins or maybe ankles. Glide your hands up, inhale. Bend your knees, palms flat. Step back to your down dog. If you want, you can be hip distance, but maybe that wider stance of being as wide as your mat is a good idea. Try as you push into your arms to align your arms and your ears so we're not pinching into our neck. And now glide into a plank, shoulders over wrists. Bring your knees to your mat. So we're in a plank, but with a kickstand down. Feel the circumference of both palms. So that means like a circle in your palm, and let that whole circle be pressing down into your mat. We're not collapsed into our shoulders. You might even try that so that we don't bring that into our sun salutations. Shift forward. Push the ground away at the same time as you bend your elbows and let them just barely brush against the sides of your body as you come to your belly. Once you're on your belly, uncurl your toes. Bring your forearms parallel to the long edges of your mat. Traction your elbows towards you. Let your chest move through the gateway of your arms and press into the tops of your feet until you feel your kneecaps lift. So everything is engaged. Our muscles in our back body, our legs, and this action here in the shoulder blade area of our spine. Lower down. Bring your hands next to your ribs. Do the same traction and let your elbows be not flinging out to the side, but just softly against your ribs. Press into the tops of your feet. Stay here, or lift your hands just an inch off your mat. Let them hover for a moment, and you'll feel even more in your back body. That's a good thing. Plant your hands. Curl your toes under. In one chunk, come to all fours. And then find the hook in your tailbone and let that take you up and back into your down dog. I'm keeping my knees bent and staying on the balls of my feet. You might hear sometimes sink your heels down. That's fine, but I see a lot of rounding when people do that. And the priority is to keep the length in your spine. Walk your feet forward, hip distance and parallel. Glide your hands up, inhale. Slide your hands down, exhale. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. And then we stand in our mountain. We find that softness, including a little bend in our knees. We'll flow. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Glide your hands up, inhale. Bend your knees, plant your palms, step back, down dog. Find the hook in your tailbone and let your arms and ears align. Shift shoulders over wrists in a plank position and then bring your kickstand down. Your knees, push the ground away as you lower all the way to your belly. Uncurl your toes and activate your legs. Your hands can stay where they are, or you could do the Sphinx we did, and we traction into that careful, long, strong back bend. Lower down, curl your toes under. In one piece, come to all fours, and then let your hips lift you up and back into your down dog. Keep that active push of your arms. Walk forward, feet come all the way up to our hands. Glide your hands up, inhale. Slide your hands down, exhale. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and then we stand in our mountain, little soft bend to our knees. We'll add some friends to our energizing flow. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Slide your hands up and elongate your spine, then bend your knees deeply, plant your palms, step back to down dog. This time in down dog. Lift your right leg back behind you. Step that right foot forward. I think the majority of us will help it along. You can hold the hamstring. And then find your two books or blocks and frame that right foot with your books or blocks. Let's walk our right foot over to the right and bend our right knee so that our, eventually maybe, our thigh is parallel to the ground. Add some bend to your back knee. That's going to free things up for us to use our core strength to climb our hands on top of our right thigh and build this out so that we're standing in our mountain pose, kind of, even though our asymmetrical legs are in a lunge. And then we will take our arms into a V shape, thumbs to the sky. You could straighten your back leg a little bit, but I've seen a lot of pitching forward. I don't know about you, but this is tight terrain here in the front of our back leg. So let it be soft, like when we bent our knees in our mountain pose. And then bring your hands to your blocks, move them off the side of your mat, plant your hands, step to down dog. From down dog, come forward into plank, shoulders over wrists. Plant your kickstand down and lower, pushing the ground away, all the way to your belly. Uncurl your toes, activate your legs, either cobra with your hands or sphinx with your forearms down. Lower down, curl your toes under, come through all fours, and then our hips lift us up and back into down dog. This time your left leg lifts. Use that velocity to step it through and maybe even use your hand on your hamstring. And then situate your blocks. We're in our lunge. Let's heel toe our left foot to the left a little. Gives us some sideways space since we're hanging out here for a long time, a pretty long time. Bend your back knee. Notice how that gives you a little bit more of an upright, especially as we climb our hands onto our left thigh now. And we will V-shape our arms to the sky. Remember, we're looking to make it seem like mountain pose from the waist up, even though there's a split situation in the lunge asymmetry. And then bring your hands back to your blocks. Move those blocks out to the side. Step back, downward facing dog. We'll lift our right leg back behind us and step that right foot forward. Bring your two blocks into the mix. And this time, take your right hand on your block outside of your right foot and turn your left foot on its side. Left hand onto left hip. We're building out something called side angle. It's different than that first lunge we did as we turn ourselves towards the left side of our mat and then take our left arm to the sky, thumb to the sky here. We have 3 moments together just like this. We upright our torso, and our thumbs are to the sky. Our body is wide open to that left side of our mat. And instead of letting that right knee collapse over towards the left, move your right knee as if you were tracking it over your right pinky toe. And do try to have a vertical line from your right knee to your right ankle. Now think about that first lunge that we did. Spin on your back toes and add that bend to the back knee, and then bring your hands to your blocks. Move them off to the side. Plant your hands, downward facing dog. From down dog, come forward, shoulders over wrists, and then our kickstand goes down, and we push the ground away as we come all the way down onto our belly. Uncurl your toes for either cobra or sphinx pose. Lower down, curl your toes under, come through all fours, and then we make it down dog. And once we're in down dog, lift your left leg behind you, step that left foot forward, trot your two blocks into the mix, and then left block outside of left foot, right foot on its side. We open our body to the right side of our mat with our right hand on our hip. That just gives us a pretty good roadmap, a little bit of feedback as to where we are on our mat. Stay here if you'd like, or right arm to the sky, thumb to the sky. We are turning our chest open to that right side of our mat. And there's a couple things to be careful of. We don't want to crumble into our left shoulder, and we're not swinging that left hip out behind us. See if you can't hug it underneath. 2 moments here. We will upright our torso into warrior 2. We're open to that right side of our mat. We're diligent about keeping that nice alignment of left knee towards left pinky toe, and also vertical line from left knee to left ankle. 3 moments here. We'll head back to that first lunge in our way. So bend your back knee, turn and face the front. Take your hands to your blocks. Let it be a gentle exit into down dog. Of course, if you ever want to bring your knees down and take a break, take a little rest, that is celebrated. That's a great idea. Reach your right leg behind you. Step this right foot forward. Feel free to help it along. Here we are with our initial lunge and our hands on our blocks, and we turn this into that side angle again. So turn your back foot flat, and then either left hand on your hip or left arm up to the sky. We're doing a little bit of what's called a ladder flow. So that means we'll grow our sequence. We'll visit some poses that we've been to, and then we'll add a few new friends. Come upright into your warrior two. And then slow motion, straighten your right leg. You might want a little bit of a longer stance here. Let your back heel be at a 45-degree angle. And then instead of side bending, hinge at this right hip and reach way out with your right hand for your block. And the same here. Maybe you prefer left hand on your hip. That's a great way to do this. Or left arm up to the sky, thumb to the sky. And we pause. Begin to bend your front knee and spin on your back toes. Take both hands onto your blocks and then take those blocks off to the side. Palms flat, we step to down dog. From down dog, come into a plank, gently, knees down, and then all the way to your belly. Uncurl your toes, cobra or sphinx pose. Lower down, curl your toes under, come through all fours, and then we make it down dog. Our left leg lifts up. And we step that left foot forward, collect your two books or blocks, turn your back foot flat, trot your left block next to that left foot, and then right arm to the sky, but if you prefer, you can always have that hand on your hip. We'll come upright into warrior two, and then slowly straighten our left leg. Let's arrange and make sure. Back heel, 45-degree angle, we're not side bending. We hinge at that left hip, reach out, place our left hand on our block. We're reminded of not locking into that front leg. Remember our conversation in mountain pose. And you can always keep this right hand on your hip if you prefer it. We're still not collapsed into our left shoulder. I like to think of inner upper arms spinning away from each other. And then to exit, look down, spin on your back toes, bend your left knee, move your blocks so that there's room for your down dog. Extend your right leg back behind you. Step forward one more time in our ladder. We'll trot our two blocks in, turn our back foot flat, right hand on your block, front knee is bent right now, left arm up to the sky. We come upright in warrior two, and then we'll straighten our front leg and hinge at that right hip, right hand down, left arm maybe to the sky, maybe left hand on your hip, especially for this next part. You can sit this part out and stay in triangle, or bend your right knee, move your block a foot in front of you, keep your left hand on your hip, and see if you can sport that triangle pose with your left leg lifted. You want to hug that right hip underneath you, and you might take your left arm up to the sky. Bring your left hand back onto your hip so that we can figure out where we are as we step back into our triangle pose, where some of our friends are waiting for us. And then as our dismount, we bend that right knee, spin on our back toes, place our hands on our blocks, move them off to the side, and then come to down dog. If you're game, come with me into plank position and then let your knees come to your mat and slowly lower to your belly. It's a cobra or a sphinx pose. And then we lower down, curl our toes under, come through all fours, and then head to down dog. From down dog, lift your left leg. Step that left foot forward, bring your two blocks into the mix. We spin our back foot flat. Let our left block be outside that left foot, right arm to the sky or right hand on your hip. Upright your torso into warrior two. Straighten your front leg, hinge at that left hip. Reach way out with your left hand onto your block. Probably right hand on your hip, especially if you're going to come with me as we look down and float this potentially, or stay where you are. So left hand on your block, a foot in front of that left pinky toe. Eventually right arm might float up to the sky. Then take a peek down, bring your hand onto your hip, step back into triangle, move your block with you. From our triangle pose, bend your left knee, carefully spin on those back toes, move your blocks out of the way, step to downward facing dog, and then from down dog, come to hands and knees. From our hands and knees, I'm turning sideways off my mat so that you're able to see me. But we've got the status of hands and knees, shoulders over wrists, right hand, right knee, left foot, all down the middle of your mat. Hug that right hip underneath you. That's going to be an important anchor. We know that from those of you who hopped up into it standing. Sometimes curling your right toes under is a good idea. Perhaps you put your folded blanket underneath your right knee. Here is great. You might take your left arm up to the sky, and it's possible that you lift your left leg, and we pause. And then we'll bring all of that onto our mat and switch sides. I will turn the other direction just so it's easy to see me. It's left hand, left knee, right foot down the middle of your mat. Feel free to curl your toes under or pad that knee. Right hand on your hip. This is plenty. Perhaps you lift that right leg, and maybe you lift that right arm, and we'll look for a little bit of an anchor of our left hip hugging underneath us. As I often say, the wobble is the win. It means we're trying. And then stamp your foot to the ground, bring your hand to the ground, and we bring ourselves to the ground in a seated position. We will lie down on our back in a moment, so make sure that your stuff is off to the side. And we'll play around with a little bit of hip mobility stuff I've been enjoying, and I'll walk you through it. Some of it will seem familiar, but I'm going to encourage you to do it a little bit differently if you don't mind. Of course, if you prefer to do it your usual way, I'm down with that as well. So as we lie down, we will cross our right ankle on top of our left thigh. You want to make sure that you're flexing this foot. It's not a floppy foot. Your head is lying down, and that could be on your folded blanket. Shimmy your shoulder blades underneath you, and then without holding on, bring your legs towards your chest. So we're on purpose, not holding on here, and just trying to bring this figure 4 towards our chest. This is a range of motion that doesn't have leverage, and that's an important one to visit. Leveraging, meaning holding on and pulling, is also fine, but we'll stay here for a full minute, not holding on, and see what we discover. Stay in this configuration, except straighten your left leg to the sky. Just do the best you can. I know after we're here for a while, it actually feels like quite a bit of strength to try to keep these legs coming towards you. Three more moments together like this. Bend and stamp your left foot, and now take your hands through the space and hold on to your hamstring maybe, or onto your left shin, and it's probable that your head comes off the ground. We're not here long, but it's very satiating to hold on, but it's really interesting not to. And it's great to be open-minded and a little flexible with our willingness to do things differently, I think. Let's release this down and switch sides. So now it's left ankle on top of your right thigh. And we'll shimmy our shoulder blades, let our head rest on whatever it's resting on, and then try to bring these legs towards us without any leverage. And it's not that it's wrong to do it the other way, but we're trying this for today. We've got a full minute like this. And stay with me on this. Just straighten your right leg now. Do your best. Like I said, I know there's a bit of fatigue, which is also just part of what's interesting. A couple more moments where we are. Bend your right knee, stamp that foot down, reach through, you'll hold on to your right hamstring maybe, your right shin maybe, probably your head comes off the ground. It's okay, like I said, we're not here a super long time. And then release, place your feet hip distance on your mat, point your fingers to the sky, bring your elbows close to your body. Take your shoulder blades and tuck them towards each other, and lying against the ground, you can feel that that's true, that that's really happening. Feedback from being on the ground is one of my favorite things to play with. Now let's lift our hips up. This is actually a hip stretch also, but the hip flexor. We talked about a tight hip flexor when we were doing an upright lunge not long ago. Your palms could go flat. You could even interlace your hands underneath you and snuggle those shoulder blades a little bit closer to each other if you like that. Gently lower down. Scoot your hips over to the right. Let your knees drop over to the left for a twist. And if you enjoy it, cross your right knee over your left knee. Then come to center. Now you'll scoot your hips to the left. Let your knees drop over to the right. Perhaps your left knee crosses over your right knee. If you did the other side, don't worry. Just make sure you get to both. Then bring yourself down the middle. Keep track of those shoulder blades again against the ground. With your knees bent, you might lift your hips just a little to make some space there. And then this is a great way to do Shavasana final meditation, or straighten your legs and let your feet flop open. You're welcome to close your eyes or just soften your gaze, but this is our rest and digest. 2 minutes of silence. You're welcome to stay here in your Shavasana final meditation as long as you'd like. If you're ready to find your way back, let's do it slowly. You could give yourself a stretch, gather up your knees into your chest, roll to either side, and without any rush, bring yourself up to a comfortable way to sit. And that could even be on your folded blanket or a book or block. And we'll let our palms face up or down and feel this sense of calm. The beginning of our practice was energizing. The end drops us into something calming, spacious. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.